say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So I completed this amp and I put it up in the Patreon group, and one of the guys in the Patreon group stepped up and said he wanted it. And I said, okay. And I said, so what kind of radio are you into? And he goes, well, sideband, all sideband. And I'm like, oh shoot, well this doesn't have sideband added to it. So we got to talking. He's not interested in having an auto key circuit, nor is he interested in having a sideband delay. So with that being said, I was like, okay, I got a solution. Got a quick little workaround. I'll add the bias to it, but then we're going to add a switched circuit here in the back. I'm going to put a label on this. Right now we have it set up for auto key, but when we flip the switch this direction, it sets it up for manual key. Now this guy that bought this amp is one of the smartest people I've gotten to have a conversation with in quite a long time. He's spent most of his career working for Apple and doing some other really cool special forces stuff. Smart guy. Who knows? He could be fibbing to me, but I don't think so after having the conversation I had with him yesterday. He does primarily sideband. He's got himself a somewhat advanced radio. He's going to either build himself a manual operated key circuit that drives this RCA connector here in the back, or he's going to just utilize a foot pedal for this thing. He is on a path. The guy that bought this amp is probably on a path to start a business to repair high-end, like, you know, ICOM, Kenwood, you know, that kind of stuff, modern radios. He wants to start a modern radio repair business. And I'm like, bud, that's a hard market, one, to get into, but once you're there, you're going to be really established. Because let's think about it, there's not a whole lot of shops that directly service like say the ICOM 7300 or 7000 or, you know, the 7610s or any of those. A lot of places will just try and send it back to ICOM. Well, sometimes that's not really your options, your best options. So I thought it was neat to be able to talk with him. It was encouraging to meet somebody that's got some interest in being some young blood in the game. But at the end of the day, this son of a gun is done. So intermixed between trying to answer the phone for my business and my boss asked me to come in and cover for his kid for the rest of the afternoon for whatever reasons I'm not getting into. I said yes. Around the company phone, we're going to try and shoot the rest of this segment for you really quick, which is basically going to be me running it with low drive with like 20 or 30 watts, then me running it with 100 watts through the striker, and then hitting it with a 497 doing 200 watts to show you the performance difference, as which we have all become accustomed to. All right, let's do it. Well, gents, I've tried to shoot this segment now 3 times, and I just gave up yesterday. So here it is on the weekend. I'm now a day and a half behind on stuff, but it's okay. It's okay. So, our customer, what the shnikes, why isn't our LED working? Glad I caught that. I guess that's the whole point behind testing, right? Okay, our customer, I'll fix that here in a few minutes. Our customer states, I don't know if you guys ever watch those videos where customer states, you know, clunking in front end and then they pull in and there's like an axle and the shock and the 4 control arms are busted or whatever. Customer states that his radio that he's currently got produces 20 watts of power. All right, so we've got the RCI 2950 hooked up. We are on 15 volts, and I've got the radio dialed down to, hello, 20 watts. Let's engage the amplifier. Hello, 20 watts of drive, at least according to what we got going on here, produces roughly about 400 to 500 watts, which is what we saw for decades with all of the Palomar stoof. Okay, let's go up here and we're gonna check. This is the 5 watt slug between the radio and the amplifier. All right, ready? Hello, 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 hello. Did you see it move? I didn't see it move. Maybe a needle's width. What I'm getting at is the input tune on this box is really freaking good. Okay, so let's go back down here again. And now, like I was telling the customer, because he's planning on upgrading in the future to a 100 watt radio, we'll switch radios once again. Eek. Okay, we'll turn off amplifier, turn off the 2950, and now we're all set up for test number 2. Test number 2, because this guy is such a heavy sideband worker, would be like an ICOM 7300 or something in that area. He's going to upgrade his radio to a Zhaoglong Wungwang TGM 4133. I can't even enunciate the Chinesium BSEM radio that he's going to hook up to this thing, but that's okay. It's okay. The point is watts in versus what kind of power we get out of it. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Okay, now we're on the derail striker. So what I'm doing is I'm going to reach up here, and on the side of the radio, I have a peak knob. Hello. Come on. Hello. Out to go. Okay. So we're adjusting that peak knob. Hello. 1 2. 100 watts in. Gets us. Hello. 1 2 1 2. Hello. 1 2 1 2 1 2. About 800 watts out. Okay. Let adjust that peak knob again. This time I'm not going to move the camera. Hello. Okay, we're going to adjust her up to our 130 watts worth of peak. And with that extra 30 watts of drive now going into the amp. Hello. Full kW, no problem. Hello, 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 hello. So now, let's come over here. And we're going to look at the 2 meters. We are going to look at the Striker SWR bridge, which is a pain in the ass to tune to, and the bird meter, which would be the only thing any of us in the normal real world would care anything about. Apparently I had that twisted at an angle for a reason, and I see why now. This is a 5 watt slug in reverse with 18 and a half feet width of RG 316 in between the amp and the radio. Hello, 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 hello. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. All right, so we've now seen it do a full kilowatt worth of power. Let's go over here. Let's drive it up a little bit more. Just a little bit more, she says. I just need that 1 more inch. If you just have 1 more inch, I'd be, instead of ooh, I'd be ah. Let's give it 1 more inch worth of drive. Let's turn our amp off. So what we've done is we've swapped over to the Hot 490, which has got a 2879 in the back of it and fully modified to support that 2879 instead of what a lot of guys do is they got a 2290 in the back of their 490 and they jump to the 2879 transistor and then they don't understand why they only see like 10 more watts. That's because you did not modify it. Hello, audio 1 2 1 2. Put about 190 watts in it. Let's turn the 4-pill on. Hello, on the stop peg. Where are we at over here? Hello, about 1200 watts on 2X. So it's working pretty good. It's working as we'd expect. So that concludes the end of the test procedures. Oh, one other thing I gotta test. I failed to show you one very, very special little detail. Once again, let's grab our Striker radio and we'll use our sensitive pass-through on the Striker radio. Turn our derail 955 back on. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Hello, 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 hello. So, let's go up here. Let's look at this one more time. Now what we do is we have the amplifier off. And what I'm demonstrating to you all is the ability for the radio to be able to pass its RF through the coax connections, through the relay, and back out the other side of the antenna. We're going into a dummy load, so inherently we have no resistance into the dummy load. So the only variable in the circuit is the connections on the amp, the relay, and the pass-through tune. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. The amplifier represents 1/10 worth of a watt worth of resistance at 125 to 130 watts going in. I've wanted to shoot this same segment now for 2 damn days. And I have not had the ability to do it because of the phone and outside circumstances. So, it wasn't until this very minute. I'm pretty sure it was in the other segments if we go look, if I was flipping the on-off switch on and off. But our LED here is not functioning. So that means we've got to go in here and replace it. So, give me just a minute, because we don't want to go through life on half a wing. I cannot send this out to a customer and be like, oh yeah, man, it was fine. You didn't see it on the video? I'll get it on their end. They'll be like, what the F, BBI? What the F? pull this out. Let me change this around real quick. I bought, way back when, a bag of, not one, I bought about, I wasn't paying attention. And I thought this was funny when I did it. I wasn't paying attention and I thought I was buying individual LED holders. I was like, man, those are expensive at $1.50 or $2 a cent each, right? When I bought these from Fat Boy way back when, I mean, we're talking way back when I first started. We're talking 10 years ago or better now, okay? And I just went click, 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 click. I needed like 50 of them, right? What ended up showing up was 50 bags of the 5mm grommets at 50 pieces per bag. Well, here we are 10 years later, and this is my last LED grommet holder. That's roughly 2,500 LED holders I've used in 10 years. So if we think at a minimum, I've used one, max maybe 3, so we'll say an average of maybe 1.25 or something like that. That's a lot of damn freaking boxes. I mean, that's a lot. That's 2,300 amps worth of grommet holders. And I did the same stupid thing with the blue LED bag, the LEDs. They showed up and I had tons of those. And I've worked my way through that. Let's say soft blue LED work, soft blue LED, go dim, go dim. Oh, that's light shining in from the backside. Off, on, and off. Okay. That's the filter, or the filter cap on a key-in circuit is what's causing that. All right, now all I got to do is put the fan on it, which is all ready to rock and roll with this really cool hammered finish. This hammered finish, it's just like it's like it's flowing down. I freaking love these fan guards. I'm so grateful for the guy that came and approached me about that. I got to put a label here on the back on what everything does here and put the fan on, and we're done. Well, gentlemen, let me just say thank you for tuning in. My religious and faithful friends that follow on average 2,000 views per video, I want to say thank you guys. If you're watching for the first time, I want to say welcome. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button. This is a lot of work. There's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes. Actually, the next segment that I'm going to shoot here today, the rest of today, is demonstrating what 8 hours of one day randomly picked in the life of an ant builder looks like. Because I'm going to spend the rest of the day working on the exact same thing. And it's the most mindless, minuscule, most important, absolutely the most intense thing. But when you guys see what I'm talking about, you're gonna be like, jeez, shut up, BBI. It's the truth. It's the time behind the scenes that people don't get how much this takes. So on that note, I'm going to say thank you to the gentleman that got this. Congratulations. There's people out there that would get their left testicle for one of these. But I want to say the biggest thanks to my guys here at the Patreon channel. They're the ones that keep the ball rolling forward over here a lot. I take the profits from that channel and I buy new equipment with it for this channel. We're currently in the mode of saving up for a new camera. Without these guys, the channel wouldn't go. Honestly. It'd go, it'd just be going in a way more reduced form. So I want to say thanks to them. Big shout out to my friends over at XS Power. Big shout out to Siglent, MechMan, Bird, Coaxial Dynamics. And a big thanks to all of you guys that bothered to tune in to watch this amplifier porn. I want to say thank you, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. I am off to go be bored silly the rest of the day. And on that note, we'll see you. Click, click.